Earlier in the show, we talked about a now viral TikTok where the creator breaks down how a short walk to the park becomes uncomfortable and also unsafe due to urban design.
The director of the Urban Studies program at Pitt, Michael Glass, is here to share more about what a walkable city looks like and who benefits from this. And I think, Michael, the easy answer to start with there is everybody, right?
Everybody, exactly. Our health benefits, mothers benefits, and businesses benefit if you're being able to walk from store to store, just spend your time.
Absolutely.
We have some really cool video to share about how, like, walkable cities, what it's kind of like reacting to.
Right.
And so I think we have some designs to kind of show this.
Yeah, this is by a Swedish artist who was just showing if you were to think about from one side of the street to the other, how much space do pedestrians actually get? And the short of it is not much. Our cities, unfortunately, were designed for cars, especially American cities, say, after the 1940s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the concept of a walking city? Because there might be someone listening or watching right now thinking, Cal, we're in the middle of a mountain valley. We are in mountains. That's just not how Pittsburgh is. But there are ways to make our city more comfortable for the pedestrian.
For sure. We're not talking about tearing things down to build things up again. It's small interventions as well. For instance, in Regent Square, they put in a lot of different walking infrastructure, extra pedestrian crosswalks, lights, just to try and make things safer for everybody. Because unfortunately, in the past, when transportation engineers designed cities, it was for efficiency, which means speed. With the size of cars, it's a pretty bad situation if you're walking, especially at night.
We know that there's like this tug of war battle, even just to get bike lanes in the city. So we know once you're starting to take away parking and areas to drive, it becomes kind of this battle. So you're saying don't tear everything down, but how do we add in some of those things? And especially too for our suburbs where there may not even be sidewalks to get somewhere.
Correct. Well, Cranberry Township is a good example of a place that is very suburban, but is doing a lot to try and link different business centers together through walking trails, through additional infrastructure for bikes, or sometimes putting in what's known as a road diet, where you're taking out maybe a lane of traffic and replacing it with a bike trail or something else. I can say that my students at Pitt, the planning students, urban studies students, they're really craving those sorts of environments. So if you're looking to attract new graduates, that would be one way to do it.
Oh, absolutely. We are so excited for you, students. Please, we are backing you, supporting it all the way. Now, if someone doesn't live in a walkable city or suburb around Pittsburgh, and they can travel to one, obviously, what are your favorite spots to just park and walk?
There are so many. Butler Street in Lawrenceville. Certain streets there are, blocks there are a good example. But for instance, Lincoln Avenue and Bellevue, maybe South Braddock in Regent Square. There are so many examples of what's possible if you think about people before cars.
Well, you also mentioned Walnut Street in Shadyside is one of your favorites, and South Craig Street in Oakland. And I think what we have there are thriving business districts that support the pedestrian through those areas.
That's right. There's an urbanist, Jeff Speck. His book, Walkable City, is a really good guide for people that are interested in this. And he says that good walkable cities should be four things. They should be safe, they should be interesting, they should be comfortable, and they should be useful.
Absolutely.
So I pointed to this article earlier today that talked about how expensive parking is too, because sometimes, especially the layout of Western PA, we might have to drive to an area, but we want to then be able to create that space safe once you park your car. But the parking is a whole other issue. It doesn't feel like we're thriving in any of these areas yet.
Not yet, but there are a lot of different practices. Like I say, my students are craving it, and this modern generation of planners and city designers, they're more aware of what's possible if you're thinking about a little bit more of that design oriented around transit, around pedestrians, and around interesting places.
I'm still on board to get that T up to the North Hills. We got to get the T everywhere.
T to the North Hills and the zip line from Mount Washington down to the point. I know that was probably a cartoon, but I'd donate to a GoFundMe there.
Thank you so much for coming on today. And if you're interested in finding out how walkable a neighborhood is, we're going to have a link to Walk Score on our website at kdka.com/talkpittsburgh.